bass when it drops like this. Drops endless. Bass when it drops like this. Drops endless.
Viva México, cabrones.
This is Mexico. This is Mexico. Mexico.
What's the matter? I am Mexico.
This is Mexico. This is Mexico. This is Mexico. This is Mexico. This is Mexico. This is Mexico.
Viva México, cabrones.
This is Mexico.
Viva México, cabrones.
This is Mexico.
always, remember your safety glasses.
To me, what I've seen with the kids is a lot of them come out of their shells. First is giving them a place that they fit. And
The students that we have at our school have been impacted in so many different ways, from learning skills that they wouldn't have otherwise learned, soft skills that will take them out into the community after graduation.
Tremendously, from just beginning with the early team stages and recruiting students and having the offering here in the building, to hosting home tournaments, traveling to Worlds, and even now seeing it expand down into our lower levels with younger teams, which I think, getting that knowledge base down with the younger kids is going to be monumental.
Understand the skill set that they're building is really, really valuable to industry.
We're now starting to see kids who went through FIRST Robotics, even here in Escanaba, now are graduating from Michigan Tech as engineers and coming back to be judges. So, we know it works.
Now, let's see what our students and alumni have to say about their experiences.
In our STEAM club, we mentor elementary students in building and programming Lego robots, along with many other science experiments. They really seem to enjoy this a lot, and it is definitely growing our STEM community.
But when I saw all those kids there, it made me feel good that there's a lot of kids who will be working to build our world and have a better future. And I think the kids are having a really good time. They're actually enjoying it, They're learning stuff, and a lot of times kids say, oh, I don't want to go to school, I don't want to learn. But learning really is fun. It's just kind of how you do it, and I'm glad that we're giving the kids an opportunity to learn in a fun way.
I think FIRST is a great place where kids can get introduced to the engineering field and many other fields. I mean, there's a role for everybody. It's just a great community and something that everybody should get involved in.
Our media team broadcasts fine arts and school events. Our community appreciates this, and it also gives us a worldwide audience.
Logistics, and it's just a really good program. Influenced me in so many ways, and it's really helping people all over the world, I think.
I'm back. So you'd think after 41 years I'd get technology figured out, but there's always something. Welcome to our concert, our annual spring concert. We have a lot of cool things for you tonight. This is our junior high choir. I guess I should say, if you have phones and you're making calls, please turn them off, silence them so we don't interrupt and be disturbing to what we're trying to present to you tonight. It's kind of important. We understand that you're going to video it and plaster it all over Facebook, and we're cool with that. But we don't want to interrupt in that kind of manner. This is our junior high chorus. It is the 6th year that we've had a junior high chorus up here, and we're excited about it. This year we went to the festival in Marquette in the end of March, right before spring break, and they actually scored the highest points that we've ever had in our junior high chorus. They had a 28 out of 30. What did we have in sight, Rudy? 28 and a 28? Yeah. Yes, 28. Yeah, that's a good number to run. So we were pretty excited about that. And it's been fun working with them. We're going to go and sing another piece that we sang at our festival called Sanctus. a lot of fun with this next piece, Aya Balano Sakada. It is a chant from the Middle East. And I thought it was kind of interesting. We started doing it, and I actually really started liking it a lot. It's a song that is sung by young people at school, at festivals and other gatherings. The interesting about this piece is we learn a lot of music, and we write down these syllables in do, re, mi, and this was in a different mode. So they had to learn like a different scale, and it was kind of cool. And then it was different words from another country. Then we decided that we would add some authenticity to the piece of music, and our percussionist, Zane Pepin, I said we're going to play the tabla drums, which I thought was going to be, that's cool, but actually to playing the tabla drums are really difficult. We don't really have the exact idea, but he's doing a great job, and kind of gives it a little bit more interesting tonality of the style of Indian music. The keyboard was moved to the different keyboard to kind of represent a sitar. So we really enjoyed this piece of music. Zane moves to the conga now, and we close the junior high portion with Al Tambor, a Panamanian folk song. guess I should have welcomed our live stream audience across the world. So, welcome. We're thankful that, for those that can't come here, that the Robomos in our school, the robotics team, does live stream of our concerts, and we appreciate that a lot. It's really exciting so that people across the planet can watch it. Sometimes they've been pretty far away. And if you're watching, go ahead and let us know somehow. How far, well, maybe we'll have a winner for the farthest person away. Let's see. This is our high school chorus now. We will continue with them. We're going to continue with a piece called Your Friend Shall Be the Tall Wind. It is on a poem by Fanny Sturges Davis. I'm not familiar with that, but it's a very beautiful poem. I don't know if these guys know, but I really enjoyed working with them this year. They might not think that, but it's been a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed their progress. They've worked hard, and it's just great to hear them sing. So here is Your Friend Shall Be the Tall Wind.
Thank you. San Bonani non che mi sappi la San Bonani, San Bonani non che mi sappi la San Bonani, hollolo, San Bonani, hollolo, San Bonani, hollolo, mi sappi la San Bonani, hollolo, San Bonani, hollolo, San Bonani, hollolo, mi sappi la San Bonani, non che mi sappi la San Bonani, non che mi sappi la San San Bonani. Hololo, hololo, San Bonani. Hololo, hololo, San Bonani. Hololo, hololo, ni sapilanye. Nakakudi bene, nakakudi bene, iwele konyama, iwele konyama, 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 veni a visto, sapeva,
Thank you. Obviously, this is our guys group from our chorale, and a couple of weeks ago, we participated in the Solo and Ensemble Festival in Marquette, the State Solo and Ensemble Festival, and we earned a 28 out of 30. We were really proud of our performance up there. As you can see, it's a lot of fun singing what they're doing, and we are going to continue now with Cripple Creek Girls, and it is going to have Ben Campbell on the fiddle. You probably heard this song before, that really great arrangement of this folk song, Cripple Creek Girls.
She's as sweet as she can be. She's got eyes of baby blue, and her love for me is true. Go up, Cripple, go little run. Go up, Cripple, have a little fun. Go up, Cripple, go little whirl. Go up, Cripple,
Sorry about this part. We have to obviously change people to get them out here, and there's really no other way to go about this. And that leaves me all alone with Kim on the stage. Which I don't mind, but the next group is going to be our, we call it the 16 group from years ago in Michigan School of Vocal Music Association. You were allowed to have 16 groups, 16 people in a group when you competed at festivals. And they upped the number to 20, but I liked the name, so we just stayed with it. I don't like to change a lot. So this group went to our festival a couple of weeks ago. First of all, they go to the Solo and Ensemble Festival back in February. Back in February, you might recall we had numerous snow days. In fact, sometimes I still think we're 2 weeks behind because we had 2 weeks of snow days. We ended up moving that festival a couple weeks later so that we could actually learn the music and feel comfortable going. So at that festival, all our groups, these smaller groups that are 20 people max, we compete and you get your score, and your score advances you to the state festival. At the state festival then, they pick one group that represents one of the 5 regions in Michigan. There's 5 state solo and ensemble sites, and then those people get to move on to sing in Kalamazoo at Western Michigan University at the Michigan Youth Arts Festival. This group didn't get picked for that, but they did, however, get picked for what we call the blind audition listening panel that happened early last week. And they were in, among that, we didn't get picked for the next round, but we're proud because they go through and they had 20 groups that they listened to. And when you think about it, that's out of 25 groups that were considered at that level that they would actually consider them for Michigan Youth Arts Festival. This group had a 30 and a 30 in sight reading at our festival, and we're really excited that they went on that far. So we're going to sing what we sang at the festival in Marquette 2 weeks ago on April 26th.
Oh
Here's a very beautiful setting of a poem by Langston Hughes. That's somebody I did hear about. And Langston Hughes, you might be familiar with his poem, Hold Fast to Dreams, for if dreams die, life is a broken-winged bird that cannot fly. So here's Hold Fast to Dreams by Susan LeVar. very fitting piece around this time of year as we approach graduation. And we are going to bring out the girls of our chorale at this time. They are going to sing you a piece that we also performed at one of our solo ensemble festivals called A New Day by Kinley Lang. we're splitting up the groups a little bit because this is the group that participated at the NSBMA State Solo Ensemble Festival on February 26th. This group also had a invitation to be a part of the listening round of 20 groups in the state of Michigan. They already selected 5, but they picked 20 more, or they had 20 more that they listened to last Monday night, actually. This group, however, received an invitation to be a part of the 7 groups that got picked out of the 20 to be a part of the Michigan Youth Arts Festival as an ensemble finalist as one of the top 12 ensembles in the state of Michigan. This is the 13th time that an ensemble from our school got to be a part of that, and we are feeling very lucky and very blessed that we were chosen. It's always just a fabulous experience to be considered in that part of choral singing in the state of Michigan. We are going to sing on the program on Friday. Get this, tomorrow morning we're leaving really early, some of the All-State people like 5 or earlier, to get down there and be part of that. I'll talk about All-State, but this group will be leaving tomorrow because they will be singing on one of the concerts at the Michigan Youth Arts Festival at Western on Friday morning. They will sing this first song that we sang, and they then sing 2 more. This piece that we're going to sing, we did sing on our Christmas concert, but we used it as part of our solo ensemble, and I just thought we should have this group sing tonight as to kind of give them a chance to sing before the hometown folks. And so we are going to continue with There Is No Rose, and followed by Kujai. thank you for your attention on that. It's a difficult piece of music, and to be able to concentrate in a nice, quiet auditorium is very nice for us to sing that way. We're going to, I need to say a little bit about Kujai, because Kujai is written by Sidney Hume, and he is a Haitian composer, and he writes things in the Creole language, which is, I want to just call it bad French in a little ways, you know. And, so this piece, Yole pour planter, means a time to sow, a time to reap, a time for work, and a time for leisure. And during the piece of music, I think he has a lot of and time for leisure comes up a lot of times. They say, make sure you take time for this. And somewhere in the middle of the piece, they're saying, this is a sacred quote, and we must honor that and observe that. So it's time to party and kujai.
Qui
bus.
Hi, John. Good evening, everyone. I am Darcy Griebel. I'm the principal here at the Escanaba High School. And I'd like to take a moment to recognize and acknowledge the 41 years that John has been with us here at the high school in our vocal department. 41 years. That means John started. That means John started in 1978, if you want to do the math. I don't mean to do this to John, but John, I was 9. I'm sorry, I don't know. What makes this totally unique is that prior to John, John's dad served as the choral director for 26 years before him. Legacy is all I can say. It's something that is history of Escanaba, and we are so proud. And so tonight is John's official final concert, and that's hard to swallow. I'm sorry, it just is. It's hard to swallow. I know, it's going by fast. And so tonight, the best way to commemorate that for me is to bring back someone, a colleague of his who knows him so well, and has served here at our high school as well. Retired English teacher, musical director, Lynn Soderberg. Please welcome her.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Griebel. Well, as our principal just told you, many years ago, we were very fortunate to have a very dedicated choral instructor here at EHS by the name of Conrad Beck. He was very well respected and a master teacher whose chorales were far and above the level of musical expertise for typical high school choirs. Tragically, Mr. Beck died on the very first day of school in 1978. Who was going to replace him? A young, fresh out of college graduate was chosen to take his place. Not only had this person graduated from EHS, been through our musical program here, but he was Conrad's son. And that was 41 years ago. Can you believe that? Over these many years, John Beck was to develop his own style of teaching and expertise to continue that standard of excellence in the choral music program here at EHS. His many years of teaching has seen him reach literally thousands of students, helping to develop their talents, encouraging their love of singing and music of all genres. Now, back in 1987, I was named the drama director here at the high school. And so John and I suddenly became directing partners. What neither one of us could have imagined was that that job would last for 28 years. Now, John already had 10 musicals under his belt by that time, so I certainly respected his talent and way of relating to his students. We were able to develop a close friendship over the years, working together every fall to make sure that our musicals here were top-notch productions. I think one of the reasons for our success was that we both kind of had the same philosophy as teachers. And we talked about this many times over the years, that our job was to give as many students the opportunity to participate as we possibly could. And that really became our mantra. There was always room for one more. Now, over the years, Our families also became a big part of each fall musical season, with our own kids performing on stage or working backstage. And I would certainly be remiss tonight if I did not mention one person that I think was key to some of John's success, and that is his wife, Kim. Now I want to relate just a little story, and I know I'm taking up your concert time, but it's been 41 years, so I don't care. Back in 2000, we did our first production of Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. I'm sure Kim remembers this show very well. She was pregnant at the time and very sick with the flu on Saturday. Yet she was here to play in the pit for the Saturday night performance and again for the Sunday 2 p.m. matinee. What all of us didn't know, however, was that John had taken her to the hospital shortly after our performance on Saturday night, and she had spent the night there. Fortunately, getting out just in time to come back and play for Sunday. Now that's what I call dedication. As Kim just said, the show must go on. Not only have you done so much for our musicals, Jim, but for this whole choral program here at EHS. And you have been John's right hand, or maybe I should say 2 hands, during concerts and sharing this stage with him for many, many years. So our thanks go to you as well this evening. Now, as the years have gone by, I have certainly been able to see close up and personal the depth of John's talent. And I want you to know that he has been acknowledged for it in many ways. A few years back, I wrote a letter to the UP Choral Association, and I nominated him to be Choral Director of the Year. A woman in Marquette called me a few days later and told me he wasn't getting the award. I was shocked. Until she said he had already won it a couple years before and they couldn't give it out twice. In 2014, he was also selected to be one of the directors for the State Honors Choir. And I know this was a huge honor for him. Those of us who are used to seeing John's concerts know that he usually ends by playing the piano and just rocking out with a song that he's arranged. Well, let's just say he certainly wowed them downstate. His groups, chorales, several individual singers have received high ratings in festivals and been selected to perform many times in the Youth Arts Festival. How fitting that tomorrow, on his last year, he and Kim will be heading down to Kalamazoo with the SSA group. Congratulations to them. We know that the choral program here has been led by somebody named Mr. Beck for 64 years. And that is an unbelievable, incredible legacy. So many students, both past and present, will always remember the musical gifts you gave them, plus the lesson that hard work will produce something uplifting that moves people's souls. And it has brought all of us so much joy. Thank you, John. behalf of your family, your friends, our community here in Escanaba, and the Fine Arts Department teachers, both past and present, we'd like to present you with this plaque, which says, "Congratulations on your many years of continuous dedication and guidance to the students of the Escanaba Area Public Schools and the Performing Arts Department." John, we have been privileged to call you not only our colleague, but our dear friend. Thank you. And just so you know that you're really retired next fall, on the first day of school, I'm going to show up at your house for coffee. Okay?
As long as it's not the day of musical giants. So I'm still doing that. Thank you. This is weird. And it hasn't really hit most of the year because us in the music department, you're just kind of, you're working, you're trying to get to that thing. You're trying to get results and you don't pay attention to that. Just the last couple of days, it started hitting. And it's cool, but it's also very weird. And I'm trying to make the concert go a little longer because it's actually kind of like, oh my gosh, this is kind of going too fast. So I'm glad that we have some talking going on so we can kind of stretch it out and enjoy the moment, at least for me. Years ago when I started teaching, one of the things that I wanted to do, I would go down to music conferences down in Lower Michigan, and I would see some of those groups, and I got acquainted with a lot of those directors, and there were some fabulous groups, and I was like, oh my God, how are we gonna ever do something like that? And they were, I could name a lot of them, they were people that I looked up to, and I felt like, we gotta do that. So I sort of made a commitment that what we had to do was we had to go down to those festivals. We had to get kids involved in those kind of things because honestly, I wanted Escanaba to be mentioned like I thought of the other groups. And I think over the years, it's a little harder because we're way up here and they don't know much about us. And we can tell them anything they want and they believe it. Like tomorrow if we say, well, we're late because there was a snowstorm. They'll believe it, but apparently it might be so. Anyway, it was something that I wanted to do, so I'm going to just bring it into one of the other activities that we ended up being a part of was the state honors choir program that I thought we got to get kids involved in that and get to a higher level. And it was going to state festivals down there. The first time our scores were horrid, but it was learning. We were seeing these other groups, and we started to get, so we were getting higher scores and getting higher scores because, you know, college, my dad taught me, or he told a group of graduating northern music students when they came down to observe his class one time. He took us in the back room. Everybody knows where the back room is. And he said, I'll talk to you a little bit. He says, you want to know something? College prepares you like for the first day. Then you're on your own. And it was like, these people are saying, well, your dad's weird, because what is that? And I was like, you know what? And that kind of stuck with me, because you get out there, you know a lot of stuff, but it's working with everybody and feeling out how you work with that person different than that person, all that kind of stuff. So anyway, I'll continue on with, we started to be part of the state honors choir program. And we've been doing that for many years. And this year we also did that. And we, over the years, had a lot of students that ended up singing in it. The state honors choir program is a lot of these students. This year actually 12, 13 of them. We had, how many did we have in the first round? 12, no, it was more. It was like 20 something. The very first. We have regional honors choir, and that is in December. And then those students audition at regional honors choir to be a part of state honors choir. And this year we had 12 students from our high school be a part of state honors choir that meet in Grand Rapids. and that was the choir that Lynn was mentioning that I got to direct in January of 2014. It was just amazing experience being a part of all these other students singing. I know I'm talking a lot, but this is the last time you're going to hear me, and I'll just tweets or something like that. So this year, then the top scores from that state honors choir then get whittled down to the all-state honors choir that we are going to be participating in, leaving very early tomorrow to go down and sing, and they bring in a nationally known director, and they work for the whole weekend and perform on the concert, and it's just super awesome to have that experience. This year we have, because it's kind of cool that we had 7. Over the years, we've had, I counted up, we've had 111 students that were part of all-state honors choirs, which is, they bring that back to here and it elevates what we do. And those were the kinds of things that I always felt like we had to do to be on the Michigan choral map. This year, Kyra Beck, Laura Sleva, Jake Becken, Ben Campbell, let's see, Jenna Gilchrist, Lily Grassel, and Maddie Reynolds have been selected to be a part of that thing. And they're not going to get much sleep tonight, but they're going to go down there and be a part of that honors choir. I do need to mention this as a director, because I could mention it as a dad too, but this year, for the first time ever in our history, one of our students can say that they were a part of the all-state honors choir for all 4 years. That has never happened in our history. And that person is the girl that was in the hospital with Kim between musicals. That is my daughter, Kyra Beck. So thank you. That was a long interruption in our singing, which is okay, because sometimes when we sing, we do a good job. We sing 3 songs at a festival and I call it good, but when you start adding song after song, when you're not used to that process, it's harder to do than sometimes by the end of a concert, you're like, whoa, that was exhausting. So we are going to continue now with one of the pieces that we sang at our choral festival this past year, and we had a perfect score, which we're so proud of. And it really isn't about that. If you felt something and sang something, and that's kind of my bigger deal, but in the process, that's what we got, and we're really excited about it. So here is Consecrate the Place and Day by Lloyd Fouch.
Consecrate the place and day to music and Cecilia. Consecrate the place and day. Consecrate, 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 consecrate the place and day. Let's roll the beat of gold. No daring, the path of the boat, no soothing
A little word about the next piece of music, Moonlight Sound Design, written by Raymond Tigouls, I believe is how you say it. It is an interesting composition. He kind of wrote it because in honor of his father who died in an accident. And he had a studio that he would go up into at night, and if it was a full moon in the studio, he would feel like this presence. I don't know, maybe you felt that somehow. And he felt like, and not in a morbid kind of way, just kind of in an uplifting way, that he felt like he was connecting with the past and those people that had gone before him. And he wrote this in honor of him, and it's just a really haunting and beautiful at the same time piece that we're going to perform for you. It requires what is called a hang drum, and a hang drum is it looks kind of like a UFO. It's kind of like a steel drum, except in a steel drum they go like that to the places that you hit. This is kind of goes the opposite. And I thought, wow, that'd be really cool if we had a hang drum and we could use it on this piece of music. And I was ready to spend a little bit of money on it. And I thought, $100, $200, I'm gonna order one online so we can do it and use it as part of a piece of music. I looked it up, $11,000. I'm retiring, but I'm not gonna, that's not gonna work out so well. So we got creative, and our percussionist, and we kind of experimented with a lot of things, and he is actually playing handbells turned on their sides and in the shape of what a hang drum would be, so he's using those kind of sounds. I also think it's a little interesting to kind of know something about the piece before you start. Zane, our percussionist, and I gotta tell you, I think he's been doing this for 4 years, right? He's been, I almost think he's an honorary Choral member because he's been a part of our chorus concerts for almost the last 4 years. And we kind of, I think this year we came up with the most weird things for him to do, play the tabla drums, and now invent our own hang drum. And so, there you go. You're an honorary Choral member. Ms. Robinson, did he need any points to get on anything? Okay. Because I'm giving him that one. He did a lot of extra above and beyond work. So, just for a second, before the piece of music, would you hit a couple of those just so it's here with that? So, if you're familiar with handbells, you ring them like that. We put them on the side, and we didn't want them to ring forever. So we at first tried it on foam, and then it rang, it was just dead, and it didn't do any kind of sound like that. So we ended up coming up with putting them on this styrofoam from the top of a styrofoam cooler container, and we liked the effect of that. So you on this side are lucky you get to watch what he's doing. This is Moonlight Sound Design by Raymond Tigouls. Okay. Back in 2012, I was, as Mrs. Soderberg said, elected to be the state honors choir for the SATB choir. That was 2 years before I actually got to direct the choir. In that time, I was supposed to pick out a selection of music for them, and I was picking a lot of pieces that I had already done because I was familiar with them. I had one piece that I was really drawn to and had never performed it, and it was called My Friend Elijah, written by Paul Carey. And I love that piece, I still do. It's just really fun, we enjoyed singing it. And he had a website, I'm checking it out. He's got an email there. I'm going, who the heck am I? Some choral director from Upper Michigan. I had to tell him, hey, Paul, we're doing your piece of music, I thought you should know. I thought that was the end of it. He contacted me, he said, would you like to do a Skype session? You know what that is. So we had, in our room, we had cameras set up, and he was on his home with camera set up, and we sang that piece for him, because I wanted him to use it at our festival that year so we could actually sing it, and I could get used to directing that piece. So we did, and it was really cool. I don't know how long it took him then right after that said, hey, I had a lot of fun with that. Would you guys be interested if I did a commissioned work, which is when a composer gets paid to do a piece of music, and to write a piece of music for a group? And I was like, well, I don't know. And he said, I'll give you a good rate for it. So I was like, okay. I talked to our Spotlights group, and the Spotlights group, our fan club, I like to call it, they said, yeah, let's do that. And so I contacted them again. And so we worked together and thought, what could we use for the text, the words of the piece of music? And we kind of came up with that. And he wrote the piece for us, and we had him up here as a guest. And that year we were able to have all our groups do a piece of music by him, and he came in and worked with us. And it was just really, really, really exciting to have that. Honestly, one of my top 10 moments in teaching choral music here. It was just so exciting that we were world premiering a piece of music that was written by a nationally known composer. So good to go home, thanks. We kept in touch over the years for reasons that I don't need to go into, but yeah. And anyway, I didn't, and I know this might embarrass my wife because I already told this story, and maybe it'll embarrass Mr. Carey too. I didn't realize how much in contact my wife and Mr. Carey were over those years after I left. Come to find out, he had told her, hey, when John retires, I want to write a piece for him. And I was like, I didn't know about this. This was like 5 years, because that was 2014. Clueless. The hints were almost dropped. My family knew about it. I feel betrayed. I'm okay though. So, Super Bowl Sunday, as everybody in America is getting ready to watch the Super Bowl, and I'm like, just getting ready to watch the Super Bowl. All of a sudden, you get those calls on your phone that have the city that they're calling from. This one looks LaGrange, Illinois. I'm like, LaGrange, Illinois, I don't know that. And she says, well, you should answer it. You should probably pick it up. I'm like, nah. So, being the jerk I can be, I pick it up and go, hello, LaGrange, how are you doing? And he said, John, this is Paul Carey. How are you doing? And the comment would, I understand you're retiring, and I want you to know that I've written a piece for you. That's amazing. As a choral director, that somebody of that stature is saying, here's a piece, I wrote it for you. And I was just like, overwhelmed. I don't remember what happened in the first half of the Super Bowl. Didn't see a commercial, so I don't know, So, he sent it to us soon after spring, or right before spring break, right when we got done our festival, and we started working on it. The piece of music that we're going to sing for you tonight is called Lacrimosa. Lacrimosa is a really heavy text, and I gotta make sure I say it exactly right. It is from the Requiem Mass, which is a mass for the dead in the church. This is weird. This is how I'm going out with 2 songs about dead things. And yet, somehow I feel that we're doing stuff the way we do it, really serious and true to the choral music art, which I'm really excited that we're not sacrificing anything for this moment. Anyway, the Lacrimosa, the words, the text are, full of tears will be that day when from the ashes shall arise the guilty man to be judged. Therefore, spare him, O God, and grant them eternal rest. And it is a beautiful, powerful piece of music that we've enjoyed working on it. Mr. Carey is here tonight to hear what we're calling the World Tour. Which, again, has been great. He's been in our chorale class for the last 3 days. How cool is it? Because you get a piece of music, you interpret it, every composer writes it, probably has an idea of it. Every director has an idea of it. The director wins because they're standing in front of the group. But in this case, it was just really exciting for them and for us, for me, to hear what he said, try this, try that, do this, make this happen. And we grew so much on this piece of music. This is not a light piece of music. In fact, he told us over and over, he wrote this probably more of a college level piece of music. It doesn't have major scales and happy chords, and it's powerful and deep. And when you understand what the words are, I think you get the idea. So, here we go. A world premiere right in Escanaba. How cool is that? I mean, really. We've contributed to the choral music library of the world. So here we go, Lacrimosa by Paul Carey. ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Paul Fairley. So totally cool to do that. Thank you so much. And thanks to Spotlights, who we have 4 people on the board of Spotlights retiring this year as well. And we're going to miss them and all their support that they have offered us. Kathy Clays, Jane Lynch, Ann Wood, and Carla Shan have been working a long time. They helped sponsor this. The robes you see a long time ago, the dresses that the girls wear, they help raise money for that. They help fund so many things in our music department. They helped so we could bring Mr. Carey in here today, this week, and it's outstanding to be able to do stuff like that of this stature in the UP. And we're just so proud of it. Other people, yes, indeed. We have, before we go on too far, we have a lot of seniors that they're singing in their last concert also. I'm graduating with them, and I don't think I'm going to get an extra diploma or anything, or maybe we could work something out. This is the first year that I always like to indicate the seniors in the program, and I indicate them by the number instead of like just saying senior. And some of them have been 1 year, and some of them have been a couple years, some of them did it all in high school. This is the first class that started when we started the junior high vocal music program. So this class is the first time I can use the number 6. And look through your program, there's a bunch of people that I've had here for 6 years, and that is just outstanding that they took the time to sing with us that many years. And yeah, it's just exciting that we were able to offer that to them, and we hope that more will get up to 6 again, because you really develop that much in 6 years. So thanks to those seniors for all that time. Even if it was just here, this year, it's been just awesome to have you. I want to make sure I thank a lot of people. I'm doing okay. How are you? This is kind of surreal, just to be honest, but I'd like to thank our janitor staff that helped set up the shell. Good people that say, okay, yes, we need to get it done. That's great. Our staff here, Laura Robinson, Joe Harmson, and Bruce Castle. I think Jim Soderbergh is up on the lights tonight. Jim's up on the lights. Thank our principal, Darcy Griebel, and our junior high principal, Jude Van Damey, along with our office secretaries, Sandy Dufresne and Marie Ayat, and Holly Berlinski, who is our secretary there now. I've already thanked the Spotlights people. We had a lot of people chaperone, and we have people going with us tomorrow to drive kids down at 5:30 or 5 in the morning. And we've had a lot of people that would ride buses. I'm the district manager for MSBMA, so I can't exactly, I have to stay up there when the festival, then their part of the festival gets done. So we count on parents, and we've had a number of parents that have just gone with us on the bus for that time. Thank my family, Kim, Jordan, Kyra, my sisters. This is the family business. You know what I'm talking about? And we're like closing our doors, but it's cool. We've had, it's been just fabulous being here. And we're going to close with Bridge Over Troubled Water. Yes, always end up playing the piano instead of, and I feel tonight I'm going to play rather poorly, so excuse my, I don't even know if I have my music here. I'm not kidding. So I always do that. Now I know I'm going to botch it, but it's something I don't know how it ever started, but I just thought, I'm going to play piano on that one, and it's been fun. It's kind of our tradition. So we're going to close with Bridge Over Troubled Water. Thanks for being patient. There wasn't going to be any way around to not talking a lot tonight, and I appreciate that you're here to see this and be a part of it. And I don't want it to be all about me, because these guys, they make me too. You know, I mean, me saying all these songs by yourself, you wouldn't come. So. Sorry. As you can see, my family takes care of me. I don't think this has ever happened. I love it. This is great. How do you doesn't matter because I'm gonna. Thank you, Tyra. I'll hear about this forever. Okay, here we go. Bridge Over Troubled Water. A great Kirby Shaw arrangement.
I'll be your bridge of troubled water. When you're down, I will carry you like a bridge of troubled water. I will lay
just a little longer. You don't have to stay if you want, but special night for seniors as well.
Hi everyone, I'm Grace. I've had the privilege to spend the last 6 years in junior high chorus and chorale, learning from the best and making amazing memories. Chorale has been an experience I will cherish forever and never forget. Especially all the stressful last minute songs Mr. Beck magically gets us to learn. I've made some exceptional friends in this class, and I'm so thankful for all the opportunities that chorale gives us. At times it was hard to understand why Mr. Beck would have us sing the same line 20 times in a row or keep us singing past the bell, but it was worth it to feel that sense of accomplishment after every performance. Mr. Beck has taught us a lot of technical things about music, but the most important thing I've learned is that music has the power to transport people and can distract them from anything else going on in their lives. Thank you, Mr. Beck, for having the passion for music like nobody else and letting us experience a fragment of that to feel our own. Also, thank you, Mrs. Beck, I don't know where she is, for all your time spent learning the piano parts to our songs, and spotlights for all you've done to support this amazing group. Thank you.
I'm a senior and I'm in just chorus class, but that's a good time too. I was in Mr. Beck's first junior high chorus class for 7th and 8th grade. And then I kind of just stopped doing chorus because, you know, I had other classes I had to take, and I just always wanted to come back into chorus. Never tried out for chorale like I'd like to, but I knew chorus would be a really good class too, and I just want to thank Mr. Beck for making that such a memorable class for me.
Hi, my name is Jake. I just want to show my appreciation for the Fine Arts program, especially chorale, as this has been the most influential part of my life. I decided to join choir my freshman year, which then led to chorale. I've always enjoyed this class very much, but it wasn't until I decided to do honors choir, and that was when I was totally able to show myself. The experiences from this class have led me to discover who I really am, and I've developed such a passion for music, especially choral music. I now want to be a choir director when I grow up, just like Mr. Beck, and if I never would have been able to experience how passionate Mr. Beck is, there's no way I would have fallen in love with music. So I just want to say thank you so much for all you've done, because there's no way my life would be this special if it wasn't for EHS Chorale.
I'm a mess right now, as you can see, but that's okay. Before we get on to the gifts for the graduate here, sorry if this puts you on the spot too much, but could we have Mr. Carey come up to the stage for a quick second? They're really fine, but that's okay. Those stairs are good too. I don't know how he writes like that. I wish I could write like that. You all wish you could write like that. And it's just been such a wonderful experience to have you here with us and to make his last year even more special, and as seniors, our last year even more special. And so we wanted to write you a song, but we're not nationally known composers. So we got you a card, and we all signed it. We just wanted to show our appreciation because it's just been so amazing. And we want to thank you so much.
So we also bought some gifts for Mr. Beck and Mrs. Beck. The flowers for Mrs. Beck. We also bought them a Stonehouse gift card and a Starbucks gift card for the album rides. They always come to Starbucks and get a drink there. And then we also have a bag of coffee. And Mr. Beck always has a water bottle, so we got you a new snazzy water bottle for you to have. And then
back to me. Okay. So we were trying to think of something sentimental to do because any good gift has some emotion to it. So we compiled pictures of
every single EHS chorale that Mr. Beck has directed into one picture. And it says that was called Passion on the top. And if you know, yeah, well, I had screenshots from the live streams because we don't have an official picture yet. But it says that was called Passion on the top because if you know Mr. Beck, my dad, his most famous quote, I guess, is, "That was not called anger, that was called passion." And even if you've never heard it before, I'm sure you can imagine him saying it. Sorry, that wasn't a dig. I mean, but yeah, we just wanted to give you this to commemorate the hundreds, if not thousands, of students. And that's just chorale. There's also countless chorus students, and it's just incredible. So we wanted you to be able to look back on that.
With tying to his book that was called Passion. 4 years ago when we were freshmen, Lizzie Lynch compiled the book of his quotes and he like the ultimate senior gift of his quotes. So what we decided to do was get you your own book. But instead of you signing it this time, we all have signed it, and we've also asked any past chorale or chorus members that are here tonight that have been directed by you to sign that book. And if you are here and you have not done so, it's out on the blue table for spotlights. Please sign it. We'd really enjoy it if you would leave like a nice memory or note of appreciation, just as another tribute for his retirement gift.
So speaking of, well, first of all, we just want to thank everyone for coming out tonight. It's been such an incredible, emotional night for all of us, I'm sure. And in terms of core alumni type things, we just wanted to ask if everyone else can leave, it's fine, but anyone who has been taught by Mr. Beck to come up to the stage really quick after this, which is basically done now, to take a core alumni picture. So it'll be quick, don't worry. But thank you so much for coming.